Shalom, greetings to you. It's good to be coming to you again. This is going to be a very short message, and I want to deal with expressions of worship and prayer, and mostly hand gestures. In this video here, I'm going to deal with hand gestures. Many times people see me do this, or you see many Christians and even other religions, people hold their hands, clasp their hands together when they pray or when they're in meditation or worship or something. Is there any science behind this? Is there something very mystical behind this when you hold your hands this way? Or is it just something that people just see others do and tend to copy? I want to talk about the scientific aspect of it. Hinduism is the oldest known religion in the world, the oldest religion in the world, established religion. And Hinduism only means the way of life. We know that Yeshua, Jesus said, I am the way. And we know that Christ, God, that consciousness was manifesting right from the very beginning of time throughout creation to all of humanity, showing us the way. However, my point is that in every religion in the world, basically every religion in the world, people fold their hands. And so it's not just a Hindu thing, but in Christianity, in Islam, and many other cultures all around the world, all the major religions fold their hand except for one. In modern day Judaism, there is no clasping or folding of the hands. And one of the reasons for that is they say, the pagans fold their hand. In reality, every religious or spiritual practice around the world, including Judaism, at one time did fold their hands or clasp their hands when they prayed, because it is something very spiritual happens when you do this. And I want to talk about that aspect of it in this teaching today, and just to show you that it is very powerful what we do unconsciously, but it becomes even more powerful when you can do it with intent and consciously. And many people have been watching the videos, and some people have said, well, why do you bow and do this? And it's something I've done for many years, and something that I just unconsciously do. And but I want to just share some things here that's going to really help you. Now, we have the left and the right. And so our bodies are of two parts, of two sides. We have the left and the right. And the right represents the positive energy. The left represents the negative energy. And you have an electromagnetic field that goes around your body. Matter of fact, it extends from your body, and the length of that extension is based on what's going on in your consciousness up here. Okay, it is called the auric field. Science call it the electromagnetic field around the body. In the book of Acts, you find that Apostle Peter, he's walking down the street, and we find that people are healed by his shadow. And so was it really his shadow, which would only be on one side, because the Bible says people are healed on both sides. So it was really his auric field, his electromagnetic field that was around the body was radiating to such a degree that people were actually being healed as he walked, because of this power that was radiating from him. Now, I don't want to really talk about that. I want to just focus on this. Because see, when you come together in a place of worship, or even in your sacred space at home, or just anytime, and you put your hands together like this, what you are doing is balancing the body system. You are centering yourself. You're literally centering yourself, and this field of energy that is all around you, and that is, it becomes neutral. For example, if you have a lot of negative stuff, depression or anxiety especially, going on within you, and you fold your hands like this, something chemically happens within your brain where it starts to secrete hormones to help you to literally calm down. Helps you to literally calm down. And that is a fact. This is a scientific fact. And so when we come together in worship and in prayer, and we do this, what happens is it brings everything from outside, all the craziness and anxiety that may be going on. It brings it right to the center of your being, and calms everything down. And this is just an ancient science that's been known for thousands and thousands of years. We've lost the understanding of it. We do it, but now you can do it with intent. Now, further still, what happens is that when you do this, the longest nerve in your body, which is called the vagus nerve, that's the vagus nerve, that travels from your brain, the serpent brain in the back here, that goes all the way down your body, around through the heart, all the way down through your intestines and colon, all the way down to the lowest part of the trunk of your body. Something happens to it. Now, you have 12 cranial nerves, or actually 12 pairs of cranial nerves, because they're in pairs. Even the vagus nerve, it is counted as one, but it's actually two nerves. And so you have these 12 pairs of cranial nerves. And just to get a little bit mystical with you and stuff, you find in the Bible, the book of Revelation, it speaks about these 12, the 24 elders that are around the throne. But metaphysically speaking, the 24 elders around the throne represents your 12 pairs of cranial nerves, which is 24 cranial nerves that are around the throne here. Okay. And so now the vagus nerve, which is actually two nerves, actually runs right throughout the body. It's the longest nerve within the body. And matter of fact, the neurons that fire in the vagus nerve does not go down. At least 80%, maybe more, fires upward. So what is happening? When you come like this, when you fold your hands like this, you stimulate the vagus nerve. You stimulate the vagus nerve. That's very important, because the vagus nerve is what helps you to relax. It helps you to reduce stress and anxiety. This is why when you pray or when you fold your hands like this, unconsciously, your body knows to get into a relaxed mode, because there are secretions of hormones that are happening. The longer you hold your hands like this, and especially with intent, you center yourself and come into a place of peace and relaxation, where the nervousness, the fear, or whatever it was that you were being challenged with in your mind, now it is all dissolved into that center space, that heart space right here. Now that's very powerful. Now, as I said, this vagus nerve, the word vagus comes from the Latin word, which means wanderer. And the reason why it is called the wanderer is because it wanders from the back, the lower part of the brain, the serpent brain. We have a book on this. You need to get it. Find the information below. And it wanders from the serpent brain all the way down to the thoracic system, around the heart, around the digestive, all the way down to the lower chakra, to the lower energy point, lowest energy point of your body. And what it does, it sends data back up the body into the brain. Isn't that exciting? You're sending data from all of your body, because it goes around every organ within the body, and it goes right back to the brain. So if you go like this, if you are in meditation and your hands are clasped, if you are in prayer or in worship and your hands are clasped and stuff, you are sending the signal. You are telling your body, the vagus nerve, that you want to be at peace. You're literally saying shalom to your body, into every organ within your body. And the signal goes all the way back up to the brain, into the hypothalamus, and affects the pituitary gland, because the hypothalamus kind of, functions in a way where it controls the pituitary gland. And so that gland is very powerful for relaxation, bringing the body into the state that it needs to be at. Now, you didn't realize that all of this was going on when you meditate, when you pray, when you hold your hands together. There's so much that is happening. Now, this science is very exciting. I was doing some research in some medical dictionaries and stuff. And there's a science even developed now where they can even test the tone of the vagus nerve, the tone of the vagus nerve. And so this is many times associated with the heartbeat, the rhythm of the heartbeat, because it goes around the heart also. And so if your vagus tone is high, or the frequency is high, that means that your body will easily bounce back from stress, depression, anxiety, or sickness or diseases. if your vagus tone is low, that means that you will have a slower recovery from stress, anxiety, depression, or any of those things. They can actually test the tone or the frequency of the vagus nerve because it goes around every organ within the body. It's very powerful. This is why you should pray. This is why you should not only pray, but fold your hands, clasp your hands when you pray, or sit quietly in meditation, because you are heightening that experience. You are heightening the whole experience. And not only that, you are heightening the spiritual experience, but you are raising the body frequency of your entire being, and your organs in your body begins to vibrate at a higher frequency so that it can heal faster. That is powerful. It is just extraordinary. And so, bless you. So this is why it is important to do this unconsciously. And the ancients understood this science. This was taken away, it was forgotten and misunderstood over the years. But see, God is restoring this science back to us so that we can do things with intent, to know why you're doing it, and intentionally affect your reality within and without. Okay, so now just a few other things here. Now, the vagus nerve is the 10th nerve of the cranial pairs of nerves, of the 12 pairs of cranial nerves. It's the 10th group of them. And as I said, the vagus nerve is counted as one, but it's actually two, because the two work as one. And so it's one of the main ones. Actually, it is the main one, the only one that travels from the brain, that goes all the way down to the lower part of the body. And the neurons are going upward instead of downward, because it is sending data, sending information from your lungs, your kidney, your bladder, your intestine, your digestive system, your heart, and everything right up to the brain to let it know what to do. And it's affecting the hypothalamus and your pituitary gland, and which deals with a whole lot of things. For men, testosterone levels and stuff, so that you won't gain weight or retain weight and all that. We won't get into all the medical aspect of it there, but it is so powerful. This symbol here is very powerful. Now, so it is the 10th cranial nerve of that group of 12 that is there. And I emphasize 10 because I'm talking about the hand, Now, the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Yod or Yod. Some people pronounce it Yod or Yod, Y-O-D or Y-U-D. The 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Yod or Yod. And what does Yod or Yod means? It means the hand. You see that? How it all goes right back to that. It's very powerful. It's very mystical, and it is speaking of something being given, something being received, something being transferred through the hand, So Yod, it means the hand. It is the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And if I were to take this just a little bit further on the astrological level, Yod, the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, correlates with the zodiac sign of Virgo, which would be the digestive tract, where the vagus nerve twists around the colon area and goes down. That's the lowest part there of that large intestine, going down into that area there. And that's, so it is all connected. It is connected spiritually. It is connected scientifically. It is connected like astrologically. It is so powerful. So this is why we should do this. This is why, well, I'm not telling you actually to do it, but this is why it was done in the beginning, and this science that was given that we are now beginning to understand again. And we can do this with intent when we pray, even when you greet each other. Now, if you find yourself in a stressful situation and you are just stressing out, don't know what to do, and you don't even have the words to pray or don't know what to say, just fold your hands. Take some deep breaths. You will find yourself becoming calm because you are balancing the body, the right and the left, the positive and the negative. Everything is becoming stabilized and centered in the center of your being. Your space becomes whole. Your space becomes free. Your space becomes clear. The anxiety and stress and frustration leaves because you have done just this one exercise, and it stimulated the vagus nerve that sent information to your hypothalamus and your pituitary gland and told your body to chill out, be at peace, be well, that everything is going to be all right. One more point here I want to make about this. When you do that, the pituitary gland secretes these chemicals, and it creates a resonance within the body. There is automatically a resonance, a rhythm that is created within the body, a frequency within the body that brings you into a place of meditation. Just automatically, chemicals are released within your brain that the Almighty put there that brings you to a place where you want to just meditate. You want to just quieten yourself. Didn't the psalmist say, "Be still and know that I am God"? It is in that stillness where you know, no doubt, no confusion, no wondering. You know the I am God. The I am God, not just a God in the sky somewhere outside, but the I am God that's within you. Be still and you know that I am God. The rest of the psalm says, though the seas rages, though the mountains shake, and though all of these things are happening in the outer dimension of this world that we can't deny, but you are in that place of stillness, and you know that there is a river that flows through you that makes glad the city of God, which you are that city. My last point here, before we just end this, I told you that the vagus nerve is collecting all the data that's throughout your body system, way down into the lower intestine, all the way up through your thoracic system, right up through your throat, all here in his feet that there. And it is reconfiguring, or it is changing that data based on your consciousness, based on what you are thinking when you fold your hands. So, for example, if you had a very stressful day and stress is lodging in your lungs, liver, your back, or different muscles, or your stomach, your digestive tract, and you're just all fluttered, whatever, when you come like this in meditation and go within, you are rewiring yourself. You are reprogramming your digestive system. You are reprogramming your muscles and telling them, I don't want to be stressed out. I don't want to be worried. I don't want to be anxious anymore. So therefore, pain, you must go. Stresses, you must go. Because the vagus nerve, the wanderer, is getting that information into the hypothalamus and is activating the pituitary gland. Secretion is happening. Healing hormones and all kinds of wonderful things are happening in your body just because you did this. This is also a way of greeting. And you find in the East and also in Eastern religion, where they say namaste, where you are basically recognizing, respecting, or bowing to the God, or in Christianity, we would say the Christ that's in each other. You're coming to a place of respect for each other. And it's very powerful when you can respect someone else. It affects your life and your well-being as well, because you are respecting, you are acknowledging the Christ, the God consciousness that's within them. Not only them, but all of creation. That gets into some other things that is very, very powerful when we understand that. Now, I'm going to give you just a few things, ways to just stimulate the vagus nerve. Okay, as I told you, one way is meditation. You don't have to necessarily have your hands folded in meditation, but even with your hands open like this in meditation, and if your legs are or just folded and stuff like that, and your back straight, there is a stimulation of the vagus nerve at that point also, because the mind has come into union with the physical body and hopefully with spirit realm and stuff. And so everything is being brought into balance there. So that's one way. Number two, okay, as I say, folding the hands, okay, in prayer or in meditation. That is a very, very powerful way to do that. okay, to stimulate the vagus nerve so that it can be reprogrammed and bring peace and calmness throughout the whole body system, because it's traveling right throughout the whole body system, getting this data, all right? So you don't want more of what you already got. You want something different, okay? Now, so breathing, deep breathing is also very important. We forget how to breathe after several months. When a baby is born, if you notice a baby, they breathe deeply through their nose and out of their mouth and stuff. You know, that is the proper way of breathing. But now the way we breathe in this 21st century, most people that are born, even before then and stuff, we have this panic breathing. You know, we're just so stressed out by everything. And many times we don't even breathe. We forget to breathe. And so you need to breathe. Why? Because God breathed into man's nostrils the breath of life, and he became a living soul. The original breath that was given over 6,000 years ago, according to Genesis chapter 2, is yet alive in us today, and that's the breath of God. So it's important to breathe this breath properly. That's why it's so important what you say, because you're using the same breath of God to create or to uncreate things in your environment. So breathing activates or stimulates the vagus nerve also. Now, fasting also, or under eating, it stimulates the vagus nerve. This is scientifically proven. So when you are fasting, this nerve that's traveled from the back of your brain, the serpent brain, the reptile, our complex back here, all throughout your body, all at once gets fired up. And the neurons, or there's more neuron activity firing upward into the hypothalamus, into the pituitary gland. See, the pituitary gland is like, speaking Eastern language and stuff, you know, metaphysical language, it is the seventh chakra of the human body system. It is what, in Christian terminology, biblical terminology, it would be called the spirit of Yahweh. Remember, there are 7 spirits of God in Isaiah chapter 11. And so the 7 spirits of God is the biblical or Christian terminology for what the Eastern terminology would be calling the 7 chakras. The medical terminology would be called the 7 main glands of the endocrine system. Okay, so the 7th is the pituitary gland. This is the one that releases growth hormones and all these other wonderful things for the body. And that gland, that gland releases us into divine consciousness. It opens up the divine wisdom, divine mind, and divine consciousness. Okay, don't want to really get into all of that. But so fasting activates that. Fasting activates that vagus nerve, or stimulates that vagus nerve, where you are open to more information from the universe, from God, from Christ within, and that's all without, that's being given to us. Also, singing out loud, scientifically proven that if you're singing out loud at the top of your voice, this is why you that go to church, you should be worshiping. I am a worshiper. People that have known me forever from the beginning, they know that I am a worshiper. I am a party waiting to happen, you know, and so I many times restrain myself so that I won't draw attention to myself. But when you come into a group, a church, if you're singing out loud, you're actually stimulating the vagus nerve. And so you're actually bringing healing to your body. You're actually causing endorphins to be released within your brain. And this information is rising up from within you and bringing it right to the hypothalamus and pituitary. And endorphins are being released. And so you're actually receiving healing. And so it's important to sing out loud and stuff. And especially if you are clapping. All of these are subtle messages that you are sending to your physical body, not only to your physical body, but to the spirit realm that's all around about you. And that etheric field that we call the electromagnetic field, or the aura, that's all around us. And it's very powerful. So just remember this. One last thing. That's okay. Well, just remember this. Next time you feel stressed, you may be, it could be at work, it could be at school, hospital, whatever, maybe around people, and you can't just like kneel and pray or whatever. But you can do this. You don't have to be so obvious. You can just hold your hands in your lap. As long as they are touching, something is happening. And you're bringing yourself into balance. Left brain, right brain. Right side, left side. And you're being centered in yourself. and all the fears, anxiety, frustration, whatever it is that's going on, it has to cease. It has to cease. Your body, your hand gesture is telling your body that it has to go. So bless you.